The film opens on Wednesday, November 11th, with four teens, Isaac, Sandra, Ginny, and Evan, enjoying a campfire while consuming alcohol outside Ginny's house. They're talking about a serial killer who only arrives on rare occasions and murders young people. One of them claims that he is yet to be arrested and is still on the run. After that, Sandra and Isaac enter inside the house's basement in quest of wine. Isaac looks for the wine and discovers some of the house's antique crafts. Among the collection, he loves an antique knife. He picks up a wine bottle and in the meantime hears some noise outside. When he turns around, the wine bottle falls from his hand and spills all over the floor. Blissfield Butcher, a masked serial killer who was previously considered to be nothing more than an urban legend, appears there and inserts a bottle of wine into his throat. Butcher breaks the bottle inside his throat, which kills Isaac. After that, we see Sandra cleaning herself up inside the restroom. She hears a powerful knock outside her door and is soon killed by the butcher with the help of the toilet seat. Later, after Ginny and Evan complete a rigorous intercourse scene, they are followed by Butcher into the tennis court. Butcher breaks up a tennis racket and inserts both sides of it into Evan's head. Horrified, Ginny runs away from there and heads inside her house. The Butcher follows her, but she manages to hide inside of a closet. After some time, she realizes that her parents have arrived and decides to come out of the closet. As she runs towards her parents, the Butcher grabs her and thrusts her into the arrow placed on the wall. Her parents enter the house and are shocked to witness all the mess. During his murder spree, the Butcher steals the dagger known as El Dolo from a collection of ancient artifacts kept in the teenager's house when the murders took place. The next day, Millie Kessler, a high school student and the movie's main character, is shown being bullied by a number of kids, including cheerleader Ryler and her teacher, Mr. Fletcher. After the incident, Millie is comforted by her homosexual pals, Nyla and Josh, as well as her crush, Booker. Josh attempts to persuade Millie that she's special, but Nyla worries that Millie is too preoccupied with caring for her sick mother. Millie lives with her elder sister, Charlene, Char Kessler, a police officer, and her alcoholic mother, Paula Kessler. We also get to know that her father passed away exactly a year ago. Despite the murdered kids' emergency alert, Blissfield Valley High School plans to have a homecoming dance on Friday the 13th. Millie intends to miss the homecoming dance in favor of spending the night with her mother at a theatrical play despite Nyla and Josh's protestations. The night of Thursday the 12th, Millie is working as the high school mascot, a beaver, for the homecoming football game. After the game, she refuses Nyla and Josh's offer for a ride home and instead waits for her mother. Millie has no idea that her mother has had another drunken outburst and is passed out on the couch inside the house. The high school crowd disperses as night falls, leaving Millie alone and waiting for her mother. While she's waiting, she notices the Blissfield Butcher across the ground. Millie flees beneath the stands of the football stadium to hide as the Butcher starts coming towards her. She makes an attempt to escape, but is tackled by the Butcher. The Butcher uses El Dolo to stab Millie in the left shoulder, creating an identical wound on his own shoulder. The Butcher is unaware of the mystical dagger's power, El Dolo. At this point, Charlene arrives to get her sister home and fires her gun into the air to scare the Butcher away. She comes to her sister's rescue and transports her to the police station. The dagger El Dolo is kept as evidence by the cops. The next day, Friday the 13th, the Butcher awakens in Millie's bedroom. Meanwhile, Millie awakens on a dirty mattress in an abandoned cottage in the body of the Butcher. All of this has occurred as a result of the magical dagger El Dolo. Millie and the Butcher's souls have switched places as a result of being stabbed by the magical dagger. The Butcher in Millie's body tries to stab an unwary Charlene in the back with a kitchen knife, but Millie's mother intervenes. Her unusual conduct is simply linked to her attack's shock. After the Butcher realizes that he's become Millie, he uses her body to go to school, where he plans to slaughter more teenagers. Millie's appearance is updated by the Butcher, who wears a high ponytail, crimson lipstick, and a red leather jacket from Charlene. This new look attracts the attention of Millie's prior bullies, notably the football squad. The Butcher ignores Nyla and Josh in school. He kills one of Millie's bullies, Ryler, by putting her in a cryotank and freezing her to death. As he walks away from the crime scene, he's taken aback by the sight of two police officers going down the corridor, but quickly realizes that they are not going to suspect him since he's in the body of a teenage girl. Elsewhere, Millie, who was locked in the body of the butcher, sneaks into school to look for her friends. Millie must keep a low profile to avoid being recognized because sketch drawings of the butcher are all over the news. She's also having trouble adjusting to the strength and size of her new body. Millie tracks down Nyla and Josh, who identifies her as the butcher. She then begins chasing them down in an attempt to explain her situation. Following a little fight in the high school kitchen, Millie is able to disarm her friends long enough to perform the school mascot's dance routine and their friendship handshake, revealing that she is Millie after all. After she exposes all of their secrets and moves, Nyla and Josh are bound to think she is the genuine Millie. They then head towards their Spanish teacher and ask them about the dagger El Dolo. Their Spanish teacher explains to them that Millie has until midnight to stab the butcher with El Dolo, or the body switch will be permanent. Millie, Nyla, and Josh recognize the butcher as a wolf in sheep's clothing and go on the search for him. Elsewhere, the butcher inside Millie's body punishes and warns another bully boy to cease tormenting Millie in the future. When the trio comes across the butcher in the school halls, he calls out for aid, attracting the attention of police officers, students, and teachers. Realizing that they will be captured, Millie, Nyla, and Josh escape in Josh's car. Charlene, who is on duty, pursues them. They make their way to Millie's mother's job at Discount Bonanza. Millie hides in a changing room and has a profound talk with her mother via the changing room door. Paula closes the conversation by asking the butcher out on a date, which Millie gently refuses, telling her that he's married. Elsewhere, the butcher kills the arrogant Mr. Fletcher gruesomely. The butcher is enjoying his time inside Millie's body since it has allowed him to continue his killing spree without fear of being arrested. Millie doesn't want to be identified, so Nyla and Josh locate an Aaron Rodgers mask for her to wear. As they're leaving the store, Josh discovers the butcher along with a few members of the football squad at an arcade. The butcher lures Booker into a laser tag arena, portraying himself as Millie. As he's about to kill Booker, Millie, Nyla, and Josh arrive to save him. In the process, Millie knocks the butcher and Booker unconscious. In the next scene, we see all of them at Josh's house where Millie ties the butcher to a chair. She and Nyla try to explain the situation to Booker, but he remains unconvinced until Millie recites a love poem that she anonymously slipped into his locker a few weeks earlier. Josh stays at his house to keep an eye on the butcher, while Millie, Nyla, and Booker go to the police station to obtain El Dolo, the only solution to the ongoing chaos of the exchange of souls. Nyla enters the police station and tricks Charlene, the only police officer at the station, to look for the butcher outside. While Charlene is outside, Nyla steals her keys and obtains El Dolo from the evidence locker. Millie and Booker wait in the car and have a meaningful conversation in which Booker reveals he's liked Millie from day one. Millie also confides to him the newfound strength she feels being in the butcher's body and not being bullied. However, Booker consoles her by saying that her strength is in her heart and in her mind, not in her size, and that Millie is really a lot stronger than she thinks she is. Elsewhere, Josh's mother arrives home early to find Millie tied up in their kitchen. Josh attempts to convince his mother that he is actually innocent and that this is just part of a sexual roleplay. However, the butcher slips out of the ropes tied around his wrists and chases Josh and his mother down the hallway with a kitchen knife. At the police station, Charlene catches Nyla stealing El Dolo. Meanwhile, Millie notices the butcher running into the police station and follows in after him. Charlene recognizes Millie as Butcher and attempts to put Millie in a jail cell, but Millie overpowers her and apologetically locks her in the cell instead. The butcher acts like he is Millie and escapes from the police station in a police car along with El Dolo. During his escape, he almost runs over Josh. At the homecoming dance, the butcher kills 4 football players. Millie, Nyla, Josh, and Booker drive back to the homecoming dance in search of the butcher. Booker informs Millie that she has 13 minutes before midnight to get the knife back from the butcher and sets an alarm on Millie's Apple Watch for midnight. Suddenly, Millie and the butcher appear in front of each other and begin to fight. Millie beats the killer down as she's powerful in the killer's body. Seeing this, Butcher starts to run away from there with El Dolo in his hand. Nyla and Josh find Butcher escaping, so they tackle him and hold him down while Booker staves off the police. As Millie prepares to stab him, her alarm beeps, indicating that it's too late, and the curse of the soul switch is permanent. However, Josh notices that the bell hasn't rung yet, and Millie remembers when Booker gave her the advice, he set her clock 5 minutes late to prevent being late to classes. Millie realizes it's actually 11:55 p.m. and stabs the butcher. They switch bodies just as the police discover the butcher, now in his own body, and shoot him down. Millie is very happy and excited to get back into her body. While in an ambulance, the butcher removes his fingertip pulse oximeter to fake his death. Meanwhile, after Charlene and Paula go to sleep, Millie enters the house through the back door. Just then, she's attacked by the butcher who faked his death before. The butcher starts tormenting her. He says that after being in her body, he understands why she's so anxious and weak. Charlene appears and orders the butcher to freeze. She attempts to fire her gun, but the butcher reveals he removed all of its bullets. Suddenly, Paula smashes a wine bottle on the butcher's head. Despite the combined effort, he quickly overpowers all three women, throwing Charlene into the TV, punching Paula in the face, and headbutting Millie. Millie admits that she also learned something from being in his body, that having balls sucks. She kicks the butcher in the balls and stabs him in the chest with a wooden post. The movie ends as she taunts the dying butcher.